Hello, long time no see. Today we're doing something different. We're not being live. We're doing a video, and it's ranking every single airport in the UK. Well, technically not, because the Isle of Man, Guernsey and Jersey are not in the UK, but I'm going to include them anyways because they have UK airport codes, so whether you like it or not, they're going to be in this video. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Just got some disclosures here. There's only one disclosure, and it's that small airports with only prop flights are not included. For example, Barrow, and yes, Barrow only has like one flight a day to Glasgow in a Twin Otter, and the airport's a beach, so I don't really classify it as an airport, to be quite honest with you. How are they ranked? Obviously the airport itself, that's the main one, and the scenery it's got in the sim, and then also scenery, like the actual scenery, like the stuff around it. Routes, this is real life routes, the amount of planes it gets, the amount of flights it gets and stuff like that. And then vibe. Now this is quite a stupid one really, but I had too many tiebreakers with only 3 categories, so I had to add a different one. And how do I classify a vibe? I don't really know, but it seems to work out quite fine. So let's get into it. Number 33, Glasgow Prestwick. This one, it was always going to be last place. The airport, giving it a 0. I think it looks terrible, I can't lie. The scenery around it, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's next to the sea, so you can swim away. Routes, it's only got Ryanair flights out of here to like Spain and stuff like that, so you can have 2 points for that. And vibe, there isn't any at all, so it gets a 0 for that. So all in all, 5 out of 40, 33rd place, and that's enough said. Let's move on. Number 32, Norwich. Now this one, I think this is the most forgotten airport in the UK. Not even forgotten, I just genuinely think people don't know it exists, but it does, because what actually happens in Eastern England? Pretty much nothing. But there is an airport there, and it's Norwich. The airport itself, I mean, it's very small, and you know, it does have a freeway and a payway scenery available, but I think they're both quite meh, to be quite honest with you. So, but it's better than Prestwick, so you got a 2 for that. Scenery around it, I mean, it's close to the sea. It's got some nice fields. Can have a 3. Routes, I mean, it's pretty much only got a flight to Amsterdam with KLM and a few holiday flights with TUI and Ryanair to Spain and Portugal and stuff, so you know, you can have a 3 for that. Vibe, I gave it a 2 actually. I think there's something there with Norwich. There is just something there, and I don't know what it is, but there is at least some sort of a vibe here. That's why I got 2 points there. So 10 out of 40. I mean, it's quite bad. Let's move on. Number 31, Birmingham. Now this one, it might surprise you, it might not. Birmingham is not renowned for being an amazing city or an airport either. The airport itself, I mean, it looks quite bad actually from Mako simulations. I think Pyrrhig are in Birmingham, but I don't think even Pyrrhig can save Birmingham, to be quite honest with you. It's just a terrible airport. So I gave it a 2 for that. The scenery around it, I gave it a 1. I mean, that probably is being quite generous actually, because you've got to take off, and what you can see out your window is Birmingham itself, and that is a major put off for me. But it got a 9 actually for its routes because it's got lots of routes out of here. Pretty much every airport in Europe has a flight to Birmingham, I can't lie, so it got a 9 for that. Plenty of flights out of here, but I never load up my sim and think, oh, I want to do a flight from Birmingham. It just never happens. But again, there is some sort of a vibe here in Birmingham. Very minuscule, but there is something there. I don't know what it is, but there is something. So all in all, 14 out of 40. Quite bad. More than half of its points come from just the routes category, so it could have been a lot worse, to be quite honest with you. Number 30, Southend. Now the actual airport is called London Southend, but it's not in London, so I just called it Southend. The airport itself, it's got a freeway and a payway, and I think the payway isn't bad, but I've not got that. I've got the freeway and it's a bit meh, so I gave it a 3. Scenery around it, I mean Southend, I can't say I've ever been there, but it looks decent. I mean, I've heard it's just the southern version of Blackpool, so that can't be promising then. But I gave it a 4. I mean, it's not bad, that really, is it? Routes, it only pretty much gets EasyJet flights out of here, but there are a fair few of them, so I gave it quite a high score actually. Solid 6. Vibe, give it a 4. I mean, there is certainly a vibe here. I just think Southend, you know, it's a nice small airport next to the sea, so I don't mind that. I gave it a 4, but still quite a very low 30th place. Can't lie. All in all, 17 out of 40. Meh. Moving on. 29, Humberside. Actually, I take it back. I said Norwich was the least known airport in the UK, but this one, I think it's taken over. I mean, even myself, I forget Humberside exists time to time, but it does exist and it's there. The airport, I gave it a 10 because the payway from Flytampa is really good. I took this picture without having it installed, unfortunately, but I can assure you it's a good scenery. Scenery around it, I gave it a 3. I would have given it a 0 to be quite honest, but its saving grace is the Humber Bridge, which you can probably see in the top left of the picture there. But apart from that, there's nothing here. I mean, Humberside, no one lives there. Why it's got an airport, I don't know. Routes, I gave it a 1 because it's got 1 flight to Amsterdam. And that's pretty much it. Vibe, I gave it a 3. And I gave it a 3 because it's nothing, and that does actually make it quite a vibe, I can't lie. So 29th place, top 30, I mean, if you're from Humberside, you can't be complaining with that. 28, Londonderry. Now, honestly, I never knew this airport existed, I can't lie. It's in Northern Ireland, but I never knew it existed. Like, I was just researching all the airports to put in the list, and I'm like, Londonderry, where the hell is that? But it does exist, but I would have probably placed it quite higher if I'd have heard of it, but I haven't. But I gave it a respectable 28th place. Airport, I gave it a 5. Now, it has got a UK 2000 scenery, but I've not installed it because I don't think I'm ever going to be interested in buying a Londonderry scenery. It's just not going to happen. But the scenery around it, I gave it a 7. I mean, it looks quite nice. Lots of hills, and it's also next to the sea as well, so I thought that was quite nice, so I gave it a solid 7. Routes, I gave it a 3 because it's got 3 routes to Edinburgh, Liverpool and Manchester, which was quite surprising to me actually, but it's got EasyJet and Ryanair flights out of here. I mean, if that suits your boat, then you might want to have a look at flying out of here. Viber gave it a 6. Now, I've never flown out of here, but I just spawned in, took this picture and thought, you know what, there's certainly a vibe here, just give it a 6. All in all, 21 out of 40, not bad. Moving on, 27, Inverness. Now, the airport itself, I gave it a 2, because, again, there's a lack of decent quality scenery here. I think it's UK 2000, but I've not got that. I don't like their scenery, to be quite honest, so I just gave it a 2. Scenery around it, I mean, Inverness looks absolutely stunning. It's quite far north in Scotland. It's got lots of lakes and stuff like that. Lots of hills, mountains, lots of stuff. And the town itself, or is it a city, I don't know, but Inverness does look quite nice as well. Routes, I gave it a 4. It's only got domestic flights to London and stuff like that. And the vibe, I gave it a 6. I mean, there is certainly a vibe here. But what did knock down this airport quite a bit actually was the fact of how north it is. Like when I'm wanting to do a domestic flight from like London to Scotland, I don't expect it to take 2 hours, but with Inverness it does. So you know what, 27. I mean, meh. Moving on, 26. Liverpool. This one might be quite surprisingly low, but it is what it is. Airport, I gave it a 4. I mean, I think it's a scenery from a Serbo actually. I think there's a payware as well, but I'm not going to get that when there's already an Acerbo one for free. And the Acerbo one isn't bad. I gave it a 4. I mean, it's below average, but it does the job. If I ever choose to fly into Liverpool, this scenery is more than fine. Scenery around it, I gave it a 7. It's obviously next to a river, and there's some nice bridges in the back, so you know, it can have a 7 for that. Routes, there's actually quite a lot of routes on here actually, which was quite surprising, but there's lots of EasyJet, Ryanair, Wizz Air flights out of here, which is quite interesting, but the vibe, I gave it a 3. That is quite low, but the reason it's quite low is because Manchester is about 10 miles up the road, so if I choose to fly around here, I'm always going to choose Manchester over Liverpool. That's why the vibe is quite low at 3, but moving on. Top 25 now. Stansted. This is another quite surprisingly low one, possibly. But the airport itself is from Innibuilt, and it's a really good scenery, so we got a 9 for that. Really high quality. The scenery around it, I gave it a 1. I mean, just look at it. It just looks so dull. I mean, it's just yellow fields, and that's pretty much it. The airport is literally in the middle of nowhere, I can't lie. I mean, the 1 point it got, despite looking this bad, was for the departure. You get to fly over Clacton time to time, and that's a lovely town. Not gonna lie, so it got 1 point for that. Routes, I gave it a 10. I mean, Ryanair fly to pretty much every single airport under the sun from here, I can't lie. Even the airports with grass runways, I won't be surprised, so we got a 10 for that. Plenty of route options, and Viber gave it a 2. I mean, even that is probably being quite generous, but moving on, 24. Durham. Now this airport, I actually don't know why it exists. Like, you've got Newcastle about 10 miles up the road, surely you just use that now. But, you know, Durham, I mean, the airport itself, it does have a nice airport scenery from, I forgot his name, Fly X or something, on the Innibuilt store. And it's not a bad scenery, but I've not got it installed in this picture, but it is quite nice. I gave it an 8. Scenery around it, I gave it a 3. I mean, when you're landing here, you've got to fly over Middlesbrough, and that is not of my best interest. I gave it a 3 for that. Routes, give it a 5. There's quite a few options out of here. You've got Ryanair, you've got TUI, you've got KLM, you know, it's not bad. Viber gave it a 7. I gave it quite a high 5 score, almost because I felt sorry for this airport being next to Middlesbrough, so I just thought, let's put a smile on its face and give it a 7. All in all, 24. I mean, it's not bad, that really, is it, for Durham? 23, Newquay. This one might be surprisingly low, but it is 23. Airport, I gave it 5. CUK 2000 scenery. Again, never been a fan of their airport sceneries, but I don't think I've got it installed here either. Looks default. But it is a meh scenery anyways. Scenery around it, I gave it a 7. It's quite nice. You get to fly over the Eden project for approaches, and you've got the sea right next door. But apart from that, it's just countryside, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it is probably the only airport in the UK where you get more tourists than actual locals using it. Um, it actually gets quite a lot of tourists, this airport actually, but not many people live here. Vibe, gave it a 7. I mean, there certainly is one. I mean, Newquay is quite good. But 23rd mid-table, nah, that's fine. Moving on, 22, Aberdeen. Airport, gave it a 4. Mainly because I didn't even check what sceneries there are here. There could be a payway or a freeway, I actually don't know. So I just thought I'll give it a 4. Scenery around it, I gave it a 10. Aberdeen does look really good, as you can see in the background there, and it's next to the sea. And there's also lots of hills and mountains and stuff on the other side, so it's very scenic. Routes, I gave it a 5. It's pretty much only got domestics to London and a few Spain routes, but apart from that, you know, meh. Vibe, 6. I mean, there is certainly a vibe here, but I'm not... It's very rare that I'm going to choose to load up my sim and choose to do a flight from Aberdeen. I can't lie. 21, Guernsey. Now this one is quite interesting actually. The scenery itself is quite good. I gave it a 7. It's a freeway. Scenery around it, I gave it a 9. It's honestly really good. It's an island. So, you know, it's very small. The water is actually blue here, unlike being brown on actual mainland UK. Routes, I gave it a 3, which is quite low, but the reason for that is because it only gets ATR flights into here with Origny, and I don't like flying the ATR, so I just chucked it a 3. So, vibe, 6. It would be 10 if it did have some, like, you know, twin jet flights into here, but the ATR in this image is just so wank. I just can't bring myself to fly it. So Guernsey is very fortunate that it looks pretty good, because unfortunately for it, what lets it down is its meh routes. Moving on, number 20, Isle of Man. Isle of Man, this is an interesting one actually. Quite similar to Guernsey. I should clarify as well that Guernsey, Isle of Man and Jersey I don't think are part of the UK, but I've put them in anyway because they're pretty much right next to it. I mean, come on. And also they've got EG airport code, so it must mean we're in the UK then, I don't know. Airport, I gave it a 6. It's a freeway, it's not bad, does the job. Scenery around it, 8, it's pretty good. Looks rather nice. Isle of Man is actually very small. It's about plenty of... And for routes, I gave it a 4. I mean, there's not many routes out of here. You've only got flights to Manchester and London with EasyJet, that's pretty much it. So I gave it a 4. Vibe, definitely is a vibe. I mean, time to time, I wouldn't mind loading up my sim and doing a Isle of Man rotation from Manchester or something. Only a half an hour flight, can't go wrong. Top 20 for Isle of Man. And that is quite respectable, I'd say. Number 19. This one could be surprisingly low, but it is a London city. The airport itself, I gave it a 7. I think it's from Orbex, it does the job. It looks pretty good. Scenery around it, I mean, it's central London, it gets a 9. It would have been 10 if I had a bit more FPS on my arrivals, but I mean, you know, I think London City is one of the most scenic airports in the UK. It's definitely up there. Routes, I gave it a 3. I mean, the reason for that is because, like, pretty much nothing flies into here. Like, this airport is an A220 heaven, but we haven't got that plane in the sim yet, so it's just pretty useless. And it's also got E-jet routes, but they are mainly E2s as well. So again, you're pretty much quite limited on route options out of here. Vibe, I gave it a 6. I mean, that probably is being generous, given, as I said, there's not many route options out of here, but You know, time to time, there's a few routes you can do out of here. I think, obviously, BA City Flyer have some interest in EasyJet flights out of here, but the EasyJet is quite bad with no VNav, but I gave it a 6 anyway. Number 18, Cardiff. This one is quite interesting actually. It's the only airport in Wales, and it's qualified for 18th place. I mean, not bad that. Airport itself, I gave it an 8. I think it came free, part of the world update, this one, if I'm not mistaken. It is quite a good scenery actually. The scenery around it, I gave it an 8. I mean, it's next to the sea. If it's next to the sea, it's going to get quite a high score. And also, I think Cardiff does have photogrammetry as well, which you know what, I should have given the scenery a 10, but too late now, it's getting an 8. Routes, there's pretty much nothing out of here, and because of that, more people from Cardiff actually fly from Bristol Airport rather than Cardiff. I mean, on the top of my head, the only routes I can think of out of here are, I think there's a few Ryanair and Aer Lingus to Dublin and Spain, that's about it. So 18th, not bad. If I would give it a 5, meh. Moving on. 17, Nottingham. Now, this is the most interesting one. It's the most mid-table place in airport I think I've ever seen, because the scenery is fantastic, but the actual, well, the airport's fantastic, should I say, but the scenery around it is depressing. So that just means instant mid-table, and that's what it's got. 17th out of 33, it's mid-table. Airport is fantastic. It's from Pyregue. It's possibly the best airport in the sim, not just in the UK. I'm talking the whole planet. Like, it's genuinely insane how good this scenery is. I need to clarify, scenery can mean the airport as well. Like, it's too confusing, I can't be arsed. But anyway, the airport is fantastic. The scenery around it, there's nothing here. Like, it's genuinely depressing having to fly into Nottingham. I mean, it got a 2 purely because of the steam stacks. It's the only interesting thing to see here in Nottingham. I mean, you can probably see it on your screen there, the 4 steam stacks. That's the most iconic landmark in the East Midlands. Imagine how depressing it must be to live here. But yeah, I think, you know, moving on, routes 8. There's plenty of routes out of here. Lots of Jet2, Ryanair, TUI, stuff like that. It would have been a 10 if it did have Airbus flights, but there aren't any, so can have an 8. Viber gave it a 7. Despite looking like that, the airport does lift its vibe quite high. So all in all, 27 out of 40, mid-table. I mean, not too shabby that, is it? Number 16, Newcastle. Now this is another interesting one actually. The airport itself is from Orbex, and I think it's quite meh, not gonna lie. But it's not bad. I gave it a 7. And the scenery around it, I gave it an 8. It does have photogrammetry, which does increase it quite a bit. Routes, gave it a 9. There's actually a lot of routes out of here. EasyJet, Jet2, TUI, it's got a lot. Viber gave it a 5. Now, there was one major hit on the vibe score, and it was the actual airport layout. The reason for that is because, as you can see here, the terminal is on one end of the runway, and if you got to take off from the other side, you've got quite a long taxi to the runway, and it does irritate me quite a lot time to time. So I got a 5 for that, but I mean, 16th place for Newcastle, not too shabby that, is it? Number 15, Bournemouth. Now, airport, I've given it a 7. I think the payware for this is actually quite decent. The scenery around it, I gave it a 7. I mean, it's Bournemouth, it's you know, it's just a, you know, it's a English domestic holiday heaven, you know what I mean? So, there's a 7 for that. Routes, there's actually quite a lot of routes on here, which took me to surprise, like, honestly. Why have Ryanair got so many flights out of here? Like, why are they flying from Bournemouth to Poland? Like, do Polish people come to Bournemouth for holidays? I don't know, but yeah, there's lots of routes out of here. So, gets a good score for that. And Vibe, there's certainly a Vibe here. It's 7. Is this the first airport that's quite consistent? Like, 7 sevens, 8 sevens, you know, it's quite consistent. So, you know, I think top 15, this must be the part where we're actually entering the good airports now, because, you know, this one's just got 7, 7, 8, 7. So 14th, Doncaster, Sheffield. I've got some explaining to do here, it looks like. The airport itself, I've given it a 10. It's absolutely flawless. The payware for this airport, absolutely fantastic. Scenery around it, again, absolutely fantastic. South Yorkshire is the most prettiest region in the whole of the UK, I'd say, so it got a 10 for that. Routes, I've had to give it a 0 because, well, there aren't any. I mean, hopefully it does reopen soon. I think it will do. But even when it was open, it had pretty much no routes out of here, so it would have got a 0 either way. And Vibe have given it a 11. Now, I think that is actually quite... I think that's quite unfair. It should be a lot higher than that. But I have given it a 11 because, honestly, the Vibe, the scale is off the chart. You know, it is way, way, way above maximum 10, so I'll just give it 11. So, you know, 31 out of 40, not too bad, that is it. Moving on, number 13, Belfast City. I actually do like this airport, I like it a lot, but the issue is the actual airport scenery. Like, there is not a good airport in the sim for this, you know, airport, if that makes sense. Like, the best scenery for it is from UK 2000, and again, UK 2000 sceneries are pure ass, I can't lie. So it got a 4 for that. The scenery itself, I gave it a 10. Like, the city itself just looks so good. You've got the river here, down the side, and you've got Belfast behind it. I mean, it's just absolutely marvellous, I can't lie. I would have given it probably 11 for the scenery if it had photogrammetry, but it doesn't. Routes, I gave it a 7. Again, it's quite a... still a high score, but it is quite a letdown for this airport. Despite being quite good, it does have a lack of route options. It's only got pretty much domestic flights to the UK, to your major cities like Edinburgh, Manchester, London, stuff like that. Amsterdam in the Netherlands, but you know, I do like this airport, and I felt very generous, so I gave it a 10 on the Vibe. So all in all, 31 out of 40, and you can probably see the bracket on the end there. I had to decrease the size of it because it wouldn't fit. Number 12, Exeter. Now this one might be surprisingly high. You might not know this airport exists, but I have put it 12th. Airport, I've given it a 9. It's a freeware scenery. It's an unbelievable freeware scenery. Really high quality. Scenery around it, I give it an 8. I mean, Exeter, you wouldn't expect it to be stunning. And maybe you're right, because Exeter itself is not the best of cities, I'd say, but it looks nice in the sim, I can't lie. Routes, I gave it a 6. There's not many out of here, but you know, it's got Ryanair and TUI to your Spains and your Portugals and stuff like that, so it's not too bad at the end of the day. Viber gave it an 8, honestly. Despite being so small and not many routes, I do think Exeter it definitely has the vibe, it really does. A truly magnificent airport. Do you know what, I actually think it's robbed of not getting top 10, like, I dread to think what airports have actually put in the top 10, but moving on, number 11, Manchester. Yes, this one not even made it to the top 10 despite being probably the second busiest airport in the UK, but what lets it down is the airport itself in the sim. Like, Mako simulations, like, we need a new Manchester. Like, can any builder someone or Pirate us to Manchester? For the love of God, we've been waiting 5 years for a good Manchester, and we still sat waiting. Like, I mean, come on. Like, Mako Manchester is pure ass, I can't lie. But I gave it a 3, and that is being generous, I can't lie. Probably should be a 1, but I gave it a 3 because at least the airport pub is modelled on the end of runway 23 right. So scenery around it, I gave it an 8. It would have been a 10, but if you've got to land on runway 05 left or right, the approach is quite dull because there is nothing on that side. But if you're doing 2-3 through an arrival, you do get nice views of Manchester outside the cockpit, and it would have been a 10 even if Manchester had photogrammetry, but it doesn't, so it's got an 8. Routes obviously gets a 10. Again, it's similar to Stansted and stuff like that have ranked 10 because you can fly pretty much anywhere out of this airport. And Vibe, despite the crap scenery, I've still given it a 10 because, you know, despite the scenery being pure ass, I do actually still quite like flying out of Manchester because it's pretty much a local airport, despite being from Sheffield. RIP Doncaster, Sheffield. Please open soon. So I've got Manchester being on loan as my local airport, which, so for that I just gave it a 10. Right, we're now entering the top 10. These are the seriously quality airports, like, let's have a look. Number 10, Jersey. Jersey it's so close to being fantastic and number 1, but it misses out on a few areas. The airport itself, I gave it an 8. Now, the airport, I think, is a payware from FlyX, the same dude who made Durham. And that lad can turn shit into diamonds, can't he? Because Durham is a purely ass airport, but he made the airport in the sim look bloody marvellous. And Jersey is different because it looks spectacular regardless, and has made the airport look good. But I gave it an 8 and not a 10 because there are better sceneries available for other airports. It could have been a 10, but I gave it an 8. Scenery, I gave it a 9. I mean, it's Jersey. It is a beautiful island, but I gave it a 10. Sorry, I gave it a 9. Sorry, and not a 10 because I just think Guernsey's better. I don't know, and I can't think what score I gave Guernsey for scenery, but Guernsey I think looks better than Jersey, so I docked a point off for that. Routes, I gave it an 8. There's actually a lot of routes out of here. I mean, that probably is being generous. It's only got domestic flights to the UK, so like Manchester and pretty much every single mainland UK airport has a route to Jersey, so we got a high score for that. But there is nothing international really. I think Eurowings do a few seasonal flights to Germany. Could be wrong with that, but I think I'm right. Vibe, I gave it an 8. I mean, there's certainly a vibe here. Like, it's a marvellous airport. I mean, top 10 for Jersey. I mean, that's a good score, I think. Number 9, Southampton. This one could be, I don't know, you're probably thinking this is the most undeserved top 10 airport ever, but I quite like Southampton. The airport itself from inner builds, really good scenery, really good. Scenery around it, I gave it an 8. I mean, Southampton in the sim looks good, in real life, maybe not. But I just think, it's right next to the sea there. You get some nice views. There's photogrammetry at Southampton as well. You see some nice ships on arrival. I mean, Southampton is a really nice airport, I think. Routes, I gave it a 7. The reason for that, it probably could have been a 10, but there's no like amazing routes out of here. You've just got a few to like Northern Ireland, Scotland, and a few to Spain, but apart from that, there's not much out of here, but it still gets a 7. Viber gave it a 9. Like, Southampton is a really, really vibrant airport, it really is. And I really recommend actually picking up the Innibil Southampton because it's a really good airport. Number 8, London Gatwick. Now this one, surprisingly not in the top 5, but it's 8th. I gave the airport an 8. I think this is a freeway here, yeah. There's now a period from Innibil's, but I've not got that, and I don't intend to either. I don't want to spend £25 on a scenery, to be quite honest with you. But the freeway, I think it does a job. It's fine. It's quite good. I give it an 8. Scenery, I gave it a 6. I mean, yeah, there's not much to see around Gatwick. It's I think when it was built, they pretty much saw, you know, middle of nowhere, let's put an airport here. That's what they've done. It's pretty much the halfway point between London and Brighton. And you can see the train line there, just in the back, because you get out the airport and you're either going to South Coast or you're going to London. So, the scenery gave it a 6. I mean, that is purely down to taking off and getting views of the beach when you take off. That's pretty much it, because there's nothing else around it. Routes, I gave it a 10. I mean, it's obvious. You can fly pretty much anywhere from here, so it's the easiest 10 you're ever going to get. And the Viber gave it a 9. Like, honestly. Gatwick, despite being middle of nowhere between the South Coast and London, it does have quite a lot of vibe. And the reason for that is because ATC on VATSIM is always online here. You're pretty much always guaranteed it. And it's always busy on VATSIM. It's a great place to fly out of. I highly recommend it. Number 7, Heathrow. Now, I've got the two biggest airports in the UK back to back. Not even both top 5, so you can probably dread to think what airports haven't been said yet. And I know one that hasn't been said that I can't believe is in the top 5, but we'll come to that in a bit. Airport, I gave it an 8. I mean, it probably would be a 10 if I had more frames, but it's still a good scenery. From Innibil's, really good, high quality. I gave it an 8, fair enough. Scenery, I gave it a 9. I mean, it's London. It's going to get a high score, especially the photogrammetry. But the reason why it's not a 10, unlike, I think I gave London City a 10, but I gave this one a 9 because if you've got to land on runway 09, left or right, you're not going to get to see London, so I docked a point off for that. Routes, again, it's an obvious 10. Vibe, I gave it an 8. Quite high, actually. The reason it's not a 10 though for the Vibe is because I don't know, why is it not a 10? I'll blame it on the frames. Moving on, number 6, Glasgow. Now this one I think has been robbed of not being in the top 5. I think the airport I've put in 5th place should not even be in the top 30, but I've put it in there. I will have some explaining to do, but I do think this one has been robbed of a top 5 place. But the airport itself, I gave it a 10. Pyreig, wonderful sceneries, easy 10. Scenery around it, again, easy 10. Glasgow looks stunning, it really does. It's got photogrammetry, it's got nice hills and mountains and stuff like that. Easiest 10 to call. Routes, I gave it a 9. Now, there's lots of routes out of here. I would have given it a 10, but the reason I've docked a point off it is because the airport is way too far north. Like, if I want to fly from the UK to Spain, it'll take 3 hours. And instead I can fly from a London airport and it takes 2. So that is, and that also affected the vibe score, the longer flight times. So it would have probably won if this was a London airport, but it's not, it's Glasgow. Right, number 5. God. This will be a big shock, I'd imagine. But number 5, it's Luton. I must be the only person that likes this airport. Luton Airport for me, it's fantastic. I absolutely love it. The reason I love it is because it's so bad. That's what makes it perfect. The airport, it's an inbuilt scenery. I gave it a 10. This airport is perfect. It is honestly probably Inbuild's best scenery. Like, I can't lie, it's just that good. The scenery around it, fortunately, stopped it from getting first place. Because, I mean, it's Luton. I've had to get this angle rather than the other side. If I was taking it from the other side, you'd see Luton itself, which I didn't want to put in this picture. So, what you can see instead is the fields. So, And routes, I gave it a 10. I mean, there's just so many routes out of here. It's similar to Stansted. It's got routes to pretty much every single Eastern European grass runway. I mean, it's just honestly perfect. Love alt like that, me. And Vibe, I gave it a 10. This was an easy 10 for me. Like, this airport has so much vibes. It really does. And I think all of its sheds is what lift it up. If there were no sheds, I would have probably... If there were no sheds, this airport would not be top 20. But there's sheds after sheds, and that's what makes it so good. Right, number 4. Bristol. We've gone from possibly the most shithole town in the UK to the most elegant straight away. Luton to Bristol. Bristol for me is a really good airport. That was fantastic. The airport itself, give it a 9. I think it's a Pilot Plus scenery. I think those developers have died nowadays because they've not released anything in like 3 years. But at least the airport still works in the sim. Scenery around it, I gave it a 9. Bristol does have photogrammetry as well. Lovely views, left, right and centre. You've got the sea on the west side, and then you've got Bristol on the north and east side. So lots of nice views there. Routes, I gave it a 9. Plenty of routes out of here. But no 10 because there's little domestic flights because it's quite in the middle. So you've only got flights to like Belfast, and that's pretty much it domestically, and that kind of dropped the score a bit. But apart from that, Vibe is a 10. It's a marvellous airport. I think 4th place, that is quite a good result for Bristol, I'd say. Number 3, Edinburgh. Right. Edinburgh for me is perfect. It is, honestly. The airport, I probably should have given it a 11 because it's a wonderful scenery and Pyreek. Absolutely unbelievable. So that was another easy 10 to call. Scenery around it, gave it a 10. Honestly, when you look at it, you can see the... what are they called now, them bridges? The 7 bridges or something, I don't know. But yeah. You've got the bridges modelled. There's photogrammetry for Edinburgh. Lovely approaches. I mean, it's a marvellous airport. Routes, I gave it a 10. But Vibe. Vibe is what knocked it down a bit. And why is a Vibe not 10? Because it's in Scotland. It adds an hour to all of your flight times when you go into France and Spain and stuff like that, and mainland Europe. It's too long of a flight. So when I'm flying to Edinburgh, it's pretty much always going to be a domestic flight, and there's plenty of them, thank God. But 38 out of 40, I mean, that's a bloody good score. Number 2. It might surprise you, it might not. No, I think it will surprise you. But number 2, it's Leeds Bradford. How on earth has this got 2nd place? Jesus. But this airport, there probably is a bias factor in here because it's my 2nd local airport. I've pretty much got 3 local airports. I'm from Sheffield. We've got no airport, have we? So I've got Manchester, Nottingham and Leeds as my 3 local airports for the time being. So the airport, think it's Innabills. It's a really good scenery. I gave it a 10. Scenery around it, I gave it a 10. These are two easy 10s to call. It's got photogrammetry. I mean, just look at that. It looks marvellous. You wouldn't think Leeds looks like that. And you're right, it doesn't. Leeds is behind it. This is going like into North Yorkshire, Harrogate and stuff like that. But the approach you get, no matter if it's on either direction, you know, if you land in one side, you're flying over Leeds, land in the other, you're flying over the hills and countryside. I mean, it's a lovely airport. Roots, I gave it a 9. It would have been a 10, and it would have probably got number 1 if it had more Airbus flights. Like, that was a major, well, I say major, it knocked 1 point off, but it was a major issue. The lack of A320 flights. You've pretty much only got 737 flights out of your Jet2, Ryanair. I mean, EasyJet do have very few Airbus flights from here, I think, to Paris and Belfast. But apart from that, there is not. Vibe, I gave it a 10. So in total, 39 out of 40. And for number 1, it got maximum score, all 10s. Belfast International, or Belfast Aldergrove in Northern Ireland. What an airport this is. Honestly, I can't stress enough just how good this airport is. It's honestly perfect. Airport, 10. It's a Pyrex scenery. And as you know, you can't fault him. All of his sceneries are high quality, top notch. Scenery around it, 10. Again, it was obvious. Because you've got a nice big lake on one side. On the other side, you've got hills and Belfast itself. And you can have a downwind approach over the actual city of Belfast, which is quite nice and scenic. Routes, gave it a 10. It's got everything you want. It's pretty much got a route to every single UK airport. Glasgow, Edinburgh, Newcastle, Leeds, Manchester, Birmingham, Bristol, London, you name it, it's got it all. And it's got plenty of mainland Europe flights as well. Lots of route options. You've got Jet2, EasyJet, TUI, Ryanair, got it all. Vibe, 10. Honestly, it's just honestly perfect. This airport is a must-have. Like, it is genuinely insane how good this airport is. And it's the most, for me at least, it's the most obvious number 1 ever. Like, when I was making the list, I just put this one at number 1 because I knew it would be number 1 anyway. And there you have it. That's my ranking of every single airport in the UK. Hope you enjoyed. And you know what? I hope you disagree as well, just so we can have an argument in the comments. Thanks for watching, and bye.